Good morning. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Scott Martin.
And I'm Mana Hosseini. Here are some of the stories we're following for you this morning from On the Record Newsroom. High school students across Hamilton are currently practicing a student-organized walkout to call for a ceasefire in Gaza. On site with the details is Sanya Ali.
Thank you, Mana and Scott. I'm here today outside of Hamilton's Board of Education, where there is expected to be a peaceful walkout to bring attention to the situation in Palestine and a potential ceasefire. As you can see, it's already 11:30, and there are lots of students all across Hamilton high schools and more coming in. The protest is followed up by Friday prayer at 1:45 to accommodate Muslim students. And as you can see, they have their flags, they have their kafiyas. There's a lot of people here and a lot more to be expected.
Sonia, you mentioned the protest was organized to be a peaceful walkout. Are you seeing any tensions among the students?
So the walkout is expected to be peaceful, and the tensions here are very peaceful. In the past high school walkouts, there are relatively peaceful, with students participating by sharing on social media, having their flags, their signs, and that is exactly what is happening behind me right now. More updates about this walkout can be found on Instagram at WMT4Palestine. And that's all from me.
On the Record reporter Sanya Ali, thank you. The Ontario College of Family Physicians says that 500,000 people in Toronto don't have a family doctor. That number could reach almost 1 million by 2026 if action isn't taken. Meanwhile, in Ontario, 2.3 million people have no family doctor, and that number is projected to increase to over 4 million by 2026. The college's president, Dr. Mahule Kumanen, called for urgent action by the government to address the shortage.
Health Canada warns about the spread of measles across the country. So far, 17 cases have been reported Canada-wide. Ontario is host to 5 of them, including one in the York region. Canada's public health agency is urging people to get vaccinated and ensure they receive both doses. Most cases have been traced back to international travel, but a few have not, signaling the spread of the virus within communities.
Bill 124, the provincial legislation which capped public worker wages, has cost Ford's government billions of dollars in back pay, contributing to an inflated 2023 budget. The Financial Accountability Office of Ontario calculated the full projected cost at $13.7 billion. 2 successive Ontario courts ruled the bill unconstitutional, and as a result, the government will repeal it in its entirety.
Ticks have been spotted in Toronto once again. Their numbers almost doubled compared to the same time last year. Black-legged ticks are the main carriers of Lyme disease, and no one is safe in Toronto. A 2022 report by Public Health Ontario designated the entire city as, quote, an estimated risk area. As temperatures rise and ticks become more widespread, experts recommend wearing breathable layers that cover the body and regularly examining your skin and clothes for ticks.
While online hate has spiked in recent years, affecting young Canadians disproportionately, experts are optimistic about the step towards regulating hate in the online sphere. The new bill, dubbed the Online Harms Act, provides governmental tools intended to regulate harmful content on the internet. Broadly divided into 2 areas, the bill aims to tackle the rise in hateful extremist content, as well as child sexual exploitation material in the Canadian context. If passed, the bill would create 3 new entities to allow Canadians to report online hate. The bill passed its first reading on February 26th of this year and is currently in its second reading. We've been covering what experts and students are saying, and you can read the full story on our website, ontherecordnews.ca.
Toronto Metropolitan Student Union put together its first women-owned market this week for International Women's Day. Here's Julia Lawrence with more on the story.
Toronto Metropolitan Student Union's Equity Centres joined together this Thursday to create its first International Women's Day market. The market at the Ted Rogers School of Management building featured women-owned businesses, including jewelry, crochet, artwork, and more for students to purchase. Programming and outreach lead Quinn Mellenbacher at the Center for Women and Trans People said for students and community members to sell products at the market for free opened up financial barriers that most small businesses face.
In the global society, women still face challenges in the corporate world, the working world, and even in some places politically, economically, socially. So for us to be able to support women-owned businesses, it not only shows and breaks down barriers that women can be successful business people and own their own business and be in charge of something greater than themselves and greater than typical roles.
Crochet and embroiderers Priyanka and Nishita started their business together to gain more experience. Priyanka specifically uses the markets to help pay for law school, and the two appreciate the personal aspect of meeting customers.
When you're doing tables, you're meeting face-to-face, and a lot of shopping these days is just online, clicking a button. So I like the fact that it's like in person, where you're actually meeting the customer, they're meeting who's making the project, or the actual object, so I love that about these markets.
Also, something that just inspired me in general was the Keith Haring exhibit at the AGO and the tagline, "Art is for everybody." I really resonated with that, so that's why I like selling at vendor markets, because I'm just sharing a piece of art with everybody.
It's like they help people in their...
Mellenbacher said the market and future events by the equity centers hope to provide spaces for inclusion and celebrate women-identifying individuals. I'm Julia Lawrence, reporting with On the Record.
A busy week across the sports landscape, including the TMU Bold men's hockey team clinching a Game 3 victory against Brock to move on to the Queen's Cup. Here's Tyler Prosick with more.
Thanks, Mana and Scott. That's right. The TMU Bold came away with a series victory in a 2-1 win against the Brock Badgers on Sunday. First-year forward, Danil Grigorev, scored with 1 minute and 53 seconds remaining in the third period, a goal that ended up being the difference in the series. TMU goaltender Kai Edmonds made 33 saves in a win against a Badgers team that was 15-1 at home this year prior to their Game 3 loss. The Bold will make their first Queen's Cup appearance this Saturday against UQTR at the Mattamy Athletic Center. Checking in on the NCAA, University of Iowa superstar Caitlin Clark now holds the record for most points scored in NCAA Division I basketball, men's or women's. She pushed her career point total to 3,685 in the victory against Ohio State. Clark surpassed former NBA and NCAA player Pete Maravich, who scored 3,667 points in his 3 seasons at LSU. Clark recently declared for the WNBA draft, where she's expected to be the consensus first overall pick. Some breaking news this week from the NFL. Jason Kelce, a now former Philadelphia Eagles center, will hang up his cleats after 13 seasons. Kelce was a 6th-round pick of the Eagles in 2011 and played all 13 seasons with the team. He retires a 7-time Pro Bowler, 6-time All-Pro, and a Super Bowl champion. Finally, in F1, a fresh season is now well underway, with Max Verstappen starting off with a win for Red Bull at the Bahrain Grand Prix. Verstappen and teammate Sergio Perez combined for a Red Bull 1-2 finish. Verstappen finished the race with a 22-second lead, and the 3-time world champion is showing no signs of slowing down. And that's all we have for sports this week. Back to you, Mana and Scott.
With iconic updates on an iconic sequel, the Unbanny pre-wedding and the 2024 Oscars, here's Apurva Bhatt with what's going on in the entertainment world.
Apurva Bhatt, let's take a look at what's going on in the entertainment world. Lindsay Lohan confirmed a Freaky Friday sequel will be happening in an interview with Andy Cohen on Monday. Although Lohan said she didn't want to say too much about the timeline of the movie's release, she did confirm she and Jamie Lee Curtis will star in the movie together. With more news, we have details on the 2024 Oscars, which will take place on March 10th. With Jimmy Kimmel hosting for the 4th time and Ryan Gosling performing the iconic I'm Just Ken from Barbie, there's a lot to look forward to. Oppenheimer has led with 13 nominations, followed by Poor Things with 11. There has been a lot of chatter about the many nominations, with one of the most anticipated ones being Maestro, Barbie, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things for Best Picture. The Oscars will air live on ABC at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. If you didn't hear about Anand Ambani and Radhika Merchant's pre-wedding over the weekend, you probably did after seeing Rihanna perform at the event. Anand, who's the son of billionaire Mukesh Ambani, is set to marry Merchant in July. The 3-day celebration reportedly cost $120 million, had a 9-page dress code, and gathered 1,200 guests, including Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Ivanka Trump, as well as the famed Bollywood Kapoors and Khans. That's all the entertainment news for today. I'm Apurva Bhatt. Back to you in the studio.
With a daily weather update and the forecast for the week ahead, here's Lynette George.
Hello, I'm Lynette George, and let's take a look at today's weather forecast. After some erratic ups and downs in the last couple of weeks, the GTA is finally getting some warm weather. Today, Toronto faces a mixture of cloudy skies and sunshine with a temperature high of 7 degrees. Going east, Peterborough is mostly sunny all day with a high of 11 degrees, as is Oshawa with a high of 8. Like Toronto, Barrie and Newmarket will also have some much-needed sunshine peeking through cloudy skies with a high of 10 and 9 respectively. This weather continues on with Brampton, Mississauga, Hamilton and St. Catharines all having a daily high of 8 degrees. To round things up, Guelph and Kitchener will have sunny breaks throughout the day, leaving the two cities with a high of 10 and 11 degrees. Moving on to our 5-day forecast. If you're making plans to step out on the weekend, I would recommend staying at home instead. It's expected to rain all day Saturday with a high of 8 and a low of 0 degrees. That will be followed by scattered flurries on Sunday, leaving Torontonians battling with a high of 2 degrees and a low of -2. To cure your Monday blues, the beginning of the week does bring some respite. It's mainly sunny all day with a high hovering around 5 degrees and a low of -2. The sun does stay out on Tuesday as well, bringing the high to 9 and the low to 1. Wednesday is a mixed bag. There's a high of 11 and a low of 3. However, there are a few rain showers throughout an otherwise sunny day, so remember to keep an umbrella ready. That's all for weather this week. I'm Lynette George for On the Record News. Back to you in the studio.
That's all for us on the record this March 8th, 2024. I'm Mana Hosseini.
And I'm Scott Martin. Join us for On the Record next week as we round out the latest stories from the OTR newsroom.
And for the latest 24/7, visit our website ontherecordnews.ca. Have a great day.